today's video is 3 myths about homeschooling. So, homeschooling myth number 1, I need to be qualified. And I want to start off by reading this quote. It is not our abilities that God desires, but it is our availability He wants. Joyce Mayer. I need to be qualified. That's a myth with regards to homeschooling. Let me clarify. There's nothing wrong with higher education. I don't have any problem with wanting to further your education and get a degree. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Those are good things. It shows that you have discipline, you can commit, you broaden your knowledge, all of these things, right? But when it comes to teaching, just think about your own experience. I'll make it broad and then I'll bring it home. Think about all of the education institutions right now, all of the educational institutions right now. In every single institution, whether a university or a primary school, a secondary school, a college, everybody's qualified who works there, right? Is everybody there a good teacher? No. Think about your own experience when you were in primary school and secondary school. Your teachers were qualified, but some of those teachers, you would say they were not good teachers. The same with your children that you've had now. Some of their children are not, some of their teachers are not good teachers, but they're qualified, right? So being qualified on a piece of paper doesn't necessarily mean that you're this amazing, outstanding teacher. Because when I think of the teachers that I would say, yeah, these were the best teachers, yes, they were qualified. They had so they had the knowledge of the subject. They had a knowledge of the subject. They had a love for the subject. I felt their love for me, for the students. You knew that they wanted to pass. When you were in their classroom, you felt like learning was fun and all of these things, right? So as you can see, you don't have to be qualified to teach your own children. What you do need is a willingness to learn. Because guess what? Just because someone has a PhD, does that mean that they close the books now? Does that mean that they say, oh, well, I have a PhD now, so I never have to read a book ever again? Nobody says that. Right? We don't know everything. For the rest of our lives, we'll be students, and teachers who are students make the best teachers. Do you see what I mean? So all you have to do is have a willingness to learn, a willingness to better yourself. And as you go through things with your children, you're learning things again yourself. You're researching with them. And it's a beautiful, like, personal growth that you're having as you're teaching them, right? So just remember, you don't have to be qualified in order to teach your children. And where you may struggle in a certain area, you can ask your spouse for help. You can ask friends, family, and get a tutor. It's not the end of the world just because you don't have a piece of paper to show. And some people don't have degrees, but the way how they talk, the way how they write, the way how they're knowledgeable on certain subject matter, you would think that they have a degree and they don't. So please, I'm not trying to bring anybody down. I'm just saying put it into perspective and really think about, what does it mean to be qualified as a teacher? What does it mean to be a good teacher? And think about why you think certain people are good teachers. Okay, 2, I need to be patient. That's a myth. I need to be patient. Of course you need to be patient. People have said this to me, oh yeah, I'm not patient enough, enough. But does that mean that I'm super patient? No, no, no. Just because you choose to homeschool your children, that doesn't mean that you have this special dose of patience. Patience is a character quality that needs to be worked on, right? Jesus is the most patient person that I know. I don't know any human on this earth right now. I don't know any other homeschooling mum who I've come across who's ever said, yeah, man, you see me, I've got this patience thing down still. Yeah, 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 yeah. Just watch me. Watch me with my kids. When they act up, when my kids act up, you're going to see who's patient. Nobody says that. We all need to be more patient, right? So don't think, oh, until I'm patient, I can't. No, because guess what? Even if your child's going to school right now, at some point they're going to need help with something, and you've got to be patient enough to help them. You have to learn in certain areas when they're telling you things and you want to snap back. You have to be learning to be patient anyway. So it's an area in which we're ever growing. So if you reach a point where you say, well, now I'm patient enough, I'll be looking at you sideways thinking, okay, and like, now you're patient enough, yeah? All right, God's going to put you through your paces and show you how patient you are. So nobody is that patient. You don't need to have a special dose of patience to homeschool your children. All right. Myth number 3, homeschooling myth number 3. This is a big one. Oh, this is a biggie. This is one of the main ones that people to this day still say. My children won't know how to socialize. It's very valid, isn't it? My children won't know how to socialize. So let's look at what does socialize mean. Oxford Languages. Socialize, participate in social activities, mix socially with others, make someone behave in a way that is acceptable to their society. Now, does a child have to go to school to learn how to participate in social activities or mix socially with others? Does a child have to go to school to learn how to behave in a way that's acceptable to their society? No. And there are children that go to school and don't know how to mix socially with others and don't know how to behave in a way that's acceptable to society. So what does that show you? Ultimately, the first point of socialization is the parents. You have to teach your children. Now, when you go to someone's house, okay, don't just run up in the rooms and spread yourself in there. And look, you wait in the sitting room. And that's even a cultural thing, because some people will be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go straight to the bedroom. But with my Caribbean heritage, coming from a Jamaican background, right, we're very much brought up to, when you go to people's house, don't just go into people's rooms. You sit down and you wait until you're invited. Like if someone says, oh, let me show you around, but you're not. And I'm sure other cultures are probably like this too. Like you don't just go into people's room, like you sit down and wait to be invited. All of these different things you have to teach your children. Just because children go to school does not mean that they won't be socially awkward. Yes, there are homeschooling children who are socially awkward, but there are also children who go to school who are socially awkward. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Socialization is not being in a room with people your same age. Socialization is understanding how to mix with different cultures, different genders, men and women, different genders, different people in positions in society, understanding that when the postman comes to your door, you can say, good morning. You can even have a little conversation. There's so many different areas in your life with which you need to socialize, not just in a room of children. And sometimes even in that room, those children don't get on. Sometimes they're in that room and someone's bullying someone. Is that social behavior? No. So when you think of socialization, think more out of the box, not just I'm in a room with peers my same age. I need to know how to mix and mingle with everybody. And children see that example in their parents. They see, how do my parents talk and treat their neighbors? How do my parents talk to and treat the Uber driver or the person at the supermarket? All of these things is what is teaching your child socializing, not just going to school, right? And sometimes socializing is overrated. Let me clarify in the way that you're thinking, because when I was a teenager and when you're a child, you make the dumbest decisions. When children are together, yeah, it's the blind leading the blind. That's not to make it all negative now. There are good friends, but ultimately, if there's anybody that your child needs to bond with, it's you as mama and papa. As mother and father, you're the main person that your child needs to bond with before anybody else even comes into the picture, really. And as others do come, because of your healthy bond and because of the example that you've set in how to socialize with people, when it comes to forming those relationships with others, it will be so much healthier and so much easier for them because they've seen that example in you. Okay, so there are other myths, but that's it for today. So our verse of encouragement is Proverbs chapter 4, verse 5 to 9. Get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor. When thou dost embrace her, she shall give to thine head an ornament of grace, a crown of glory shall she deliver to thee. Amen. So I hope you are encouraged, and I wish you all the best on your homeschooling journey if this is something that you are considering. And if you have any questions, please leave your comments, leave it in the comments down below, and I'll get back to you. And let me just say this as a point to leave. Why did we choose to homeschool? It's mainly based on faith, it's for faith reasons. We wanted our children to be brought up in our faith, right? We didn't want them to be like to go to school and have the influence of people normalizing deviant behavior. And when I say that, I mean as in teachers teaching this is normal or that is normal. We could see things coming in and we were like, yeah. So way before we had children, we were like, yes, we are homeschooling. So this is something that I had already prepared mentally to do. Doing it, who would have known that it would be like, it was way harder than I ever thought it would be. No one can really prepare you. But all I can say is it's one of the best decisions I've made in my whole life. And it's shown me so much about myself. It's given me such an opportunity to grow as a person, spiritually, academically, in every way. And it's just such a wonderful opportunity. You get more time with the children, and you don't have to be around the children all day long. I think sometimes people find that daunting. That's another myth, I guess, because they think, oh, I'm going to be with my children all day long. No, you don't. Depending on their age and their needs, you don't. You have your quality time with the children, and then you do what needs to be done. And remember, quality time with children is not just playtime. You're having quality time as you're doing dishes together or sweeping the floor together, tidying up a room together. All of these things are quality time, right? So don't just think, oh, I have to play all day or teach all day. That's not realistic because there's so much to be done in a day. So I'm still learning. I'm no expert, but I just wanted to share these things today because every now and then I still hear these things and I think, when you hear myth, you need to be a myth buster and sort it out. All right, then. So, yes, I wish you all the best. Thank you for watching. And while you are visiting, please remember to like and subscribe. Bye.